shark fishing. A lot of people seem to think that there's something ill-conceived about it or not good, which makes no sense because it's just fishing. The cool thing is right now you're going to be out here live with us tonight with Gulf Coast Nation. We're out here at the beach doing shark fishing with family. It's going to be awesome, so stick around. You're listening to Finding Demo Surf Fishing. Oh, yeah, man. Coming in from Pensacola Beach. It is in the nighttime. And I am out here with the Gulf Coast Nation team. I got Dylan here on the mic right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks so much for having us.
Oh, man, I'm so glad I get a chance to talk to you guys. I always see all the videos and always, you guys are one of the few, if I had to count, you'd be probably the number one of the people I'd want to talk to.
I appreciate
you guys
that.
have always done it right. So it's always been a real refreshing to see that, especially with your videos and those pieces there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, professionalism's number one for sure.
And I'm here with the other team. I got Adam and Blaine here. So you're gonna get them all.
Doing?
Yeah. All right. So the awesome team of three. You guys have been doing this for how long now?
I've been doing it for a little over 7 years now, since 2014.
Okay.
So Adam's been with me since 2016, and then Blaine was a new hire on in January. So he's the kind of young gun, jump in and meet the requirements and exceed expectations.
Man, the boss called it right out for you guys. I mean, that sets it really good. I mean, that's good stuff right there. So what is it about, what got you here? What brought you to shark fishing to start off there? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so basically, long story short, I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, wanted to head to the beach my entire life, pretty much just took the opportunity for college to come down closer, started in Montgomery, Alabama, and my roommate was from Auburn, so we went to do some beach fishing. He was talking up, catching sharks from spinning gear and all this stuff, and basically it was one occasion. We were going to the Panama City Beach in the morning, spinning gear to catch sharks, and we passed a guy that was obviously leaving from fishing all night. He had been shark fishing, and we asked him whatever, like people do us all the time, "What did you guys catch last night?" And he said, "It was a bad night, just caught a little 7-foot shark." And I was just like, mind blown. And when I started my first Google search, it was pretty much over from that point. Starting with small gear, and the 3 years worth of lessons that I lived, got me to this point right here. But it was a long ladder to get here, and a lot of hard learning curves. So.
I can imagine. I mean, and anybody knows in fishing and life, it's always a learning game. And this to me is on the major league level. I mean,
it's a detailed game.
It really is. I mean, and just so I've only been out here with you guys for a couple hours, and it's always cool to see the video, but you always catch that part. You don't get to always see, like when you got out here, the setup of the tent, the way the bait was cut, how you set it up on the hooks, how you set the hooks, how you also set your leaders up. There is a lot of game that you guys play to get just to go out here and just do it. So, I mean, that to me, you do more work than I do at all when it comes to setting up for surf fishing. But this is on steroids. And like I said, I really feel like, this is high level that you guys are doing. So
yeah, it's a detailed game for sure. And it's one of those things, like I said, a 3-year period of learning. And that's kind of why we do the YouTube videos like we do, is we want to shorten everybody's learning curve into the sport, because there's a way to get into it and there was a way to not. But I want nobody to go through what I went through, and now we've got it down pat, and all the little details add up to like tonight, successful night, 2 sharks already on the beach, and that's no accident for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you guys set that one up. So the start of the night, when we first started, you had a paddle out of 1,107.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, that's a serious number right there.
Yes, sir. I always like to end on odd numbers. Good luck.
And you guys, I mean, obviously it's playing zones like you did anything else. So like you were like, all right, today that's going to be my zone. I'm going to start one bait. I'm going to go with this target here. And then obviously throughout the time that you're out here, you're going to change your zones from there.
Find where they are and stick to it. If they're hitting one bait more than the other, then run that bait.
Right. Makes sense.
Yes, sir. Find out what they're liking.
All right. So I've got to ask, because you got the mic, and we'll talk about this with kayaking out there. Obviously, kayaking is quite the physical game.
Yes, sir.
I saw you guys really, you guys are young and you're in shape, and that's outstanding. what is it when you're out there? Is it just like, you're just paddling because you're like, oh, I'm going to count, or is there a little bit of freedom in there for you, or where do you go while you're out doing the kayaking?
Basically, I'd rather do it at night. It's a lot like more peaceful, and you're just out there. You generally pick a star and head right for that star and count your paddle strokes, and once you've hit that number, then drop the bait, turn around, come back.
What's that?
Yeah, you gotta stagger your baits. It's really similar to surf fishing. Kind of like a lot of surf fishing guys go. You go a close bait, medium bait. You split the gut.
Right.
We're doing the exact same thing. The bait's at 150 yards right now. We've got another 250, 350, 400, 500 yards, and we got another past that 600 yard mark. And then once you find where they are, that's kind of where we try to push to. And then when the bite slows down, you stagger your baits back out and go again and find those zones. So it's really similar.
Okay. I mean, that's the only way to fish, right? You can't just always go, it's not like we're back at the dockside when we were kids throwing the bobber out and like, oh, let's hope here. It's a little bit more strategic.
I did some hoping, but yeah, this is the more productive method for sure.
All right. So you've got on the team here, you've been the longest and then second longest. Yes. Is that correct? Yes. And you've just started, so introduce yourself to the team.
Yeah, so I'm Blaine, and I got hired on in January and was kind of thrown right into it. In January, we had our first night on the beach. I caught my first shark in the harness, and then, a month later, Dylan was like, hey, you want to go to South Florida with me and Yakking with Jack? And I was like, I don't know. I'm still at my other job. I don't know if I can get off for that. And sure enough, I was able to get off. I went down to South Florida with Dylan and Yakking with Jack there, and we popped 7 bull sharks in 7 hours, and
wow.
I got thrown into it real quick, and it was from then on I was like, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. So I've been grinding. Dylan decided to step off the beach, be more in the managerial role of staying in the office, doing all of our marketing, editing all of our YouTube videos. And so me just starting, I had to learn very quickly how to, one, get all the shark gear, know how to prepare it, know what to do, and then immediately within a month get thrown into a manager role here on the beach.
It's upward movement, man. It's just how it is in this world. I get it.
Yeah. And I mean, if anybody's asking out there, I don't know if I can do it, I'm here to tell you y'all can. It's not like it just takes willpower, and you can do it.
So with you just starting out, what has been your favorite part so far?
Favorite moment?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, first thing that came to your mind. I mean, any of that works out, man. I just want to hear your story on this.
Me and my assistant this past summer, we got the first hammerhead of the year for the company, and that was nice. That was a huge moment for me. And I was like, I think I can really pull this off. I'm getting pretty consistent with catching sharks, and then that one. Great hammerhead. It's about 9.5 foot, and that was world changing.
Oh,
world changing.
I can imagine. I mean, that was going to be my next question: was how big was that hammerhead? Because you see him, for people like me, we only get to see him in the books and all that fun stuff, but to see it live, I can only imagine the adrenaline and just the sheer amount of accomplishment that came from that. That's
Blaine, I had to steal the microphone for a second. Blaine's not going to tell anybody this, but Blaine is one of the most hype guys that you will ever see on video camera. Pure passion and emotion when he is releasing a shark or, has succeeded. And if you guys haven't checked out that video, it's on our channel where Blaine and Jack catch that, 9.5 foot hammerhead. And Blaine just throwing water, just let's go, just out of control. And then he calls me on the phone and just... You'll see it in the clip. He just calls me on the phone, and when I answer, I'm in the truck, I'm driving, I had a meeting or something like that, and he just goes, what? And starts sprinting. He's like, I don't know where I was going. I wasn't going anywhere. Just, what? And I'm on the phone oh, no, something bad happened. And he's like, greater. And I was like, oh, something good. What do you do? Communicate with me. He's like, just screaming. So this guy is a next level intensity for sure on the beach.
That's awesome. I mean, keep that going if you can, absolutely. And Adam, same for you. What was that for you? I mean, we're talking about the hammerhead. Let's talk about that. What was that feeling like for you?
A lot of them run together. Basically, anytime we have a kid out here that is passionate about sharks, one sticks out in particular. It was Blaine and I. We were running the trip, and it was mother, father, and a daughter, and the father and the daughter were super passionate about sharks, loved everything outdoors, hunting, fishing, and they just wanted to catch a shark. That was like the one thing left on their bucket list, and they really, really wanted to get a shark. And so we were sitting there, and then about 10:30, reel went off, and we set the hook. They started pulling it in, and it was about a 6-foot bull shark that had his tail bit off. It was nub tail.
Whoa.
And they freaked out. They thought that it was the coolest thing ever. And there's been other times like that. So basically anytime clients are out here, that especially with little kids that are real passionate about sharks, and they get to see one and release it with us and get their picture with it.
All right, that's got to be intense. I mean,
Yes, sir.
out here today, I mean, I went live a couple times on that one, the first bull shark that came in, and when you guys were reeling it, I was just like, all right, cool, yeah, and then I went off because I wanted to save some battery life because I'm selfish.
Of course. Of course.
But, as soon as you guys got it close, I ended up going live with my daughter, and I was like, hey, you want to see this? And so as soon as I saw it, like, her eyes just exploded, and I was like, do you want to come out? She's like, oh, yeah, I want to see this. So it's like, okay, now you can see this, and then from that perspective, I can only imagine with kids, I mean, for you guys, you're so high energy and so just great. I mean, I wish I could. I'm not trying to embellish here, but I mean, you guys are really impressive. I can only imagine any family that comes out would feel super welcome and super comfortable and like, okay, we can do this all day. So I think that's great.
Yeah, that's the kind of Gulf Coast Nation motto is addicted to sharing the experience. On our website, we have a bunch of apparel, and that's down the sleeve of one of the shirts is addicted to sharing the experience. And that's not a put on thing. That's not a fake thing. I know a lot of people watch our videos and are like, there's no way that you guys are that excited every time. And it's like, I don't think you understand. Yeah. Like, this is what we live for. And getting to share it with people, it's just like that pass the rod mentality. You get a kid and you hook a bluegill and you're like, here's a fish. And you're like, no, I enjoy it. He enjoyed it so much more than I would have. It's just like, this is the same thing for us. Like, sharing that experience with people, whether it be through YouTube, whether it be through like an event like this where we get to show you guys what we do, or it is a charter. Just sharing the experience of what we get and what we love and what our passion is next to none.
Nice. So let's talk about the charters. When it comes to that, well, let me actually, before we get to charters, let's talk about the one thing that everyone's like, well, you guys are shark fishing. Oh, that's so horrible. And we see that all the time. A lot of people are just there's a lot of misunderstanding out there about shark fishing.
Yeah.
Clear it up for us. I mean, I think it's a good thing. It's not the one thing that I know we're going to talk about, but
right.
I'll open it up with the fun question of, does shark fishing bring sharks closer to the shore?
Now, that's a great question, and I can completely understand someone from out of state or who has not been to the beach much. Of course, you watch the Jaws movie and your mind starts running, and the imagination can be one of the most best, amazing tools that you have, and one of the most detrimental. And in this case, it can be very detrimental to people. They see a lot of media stuff, and they see a lot of movies that are fictional, by the way. And we don't draw sharks into the shore. That's basically the short of the long. Sharks are always here. Like when we set up today, Mr. Brian saw with us, there was a blacktip. We had no baits in the water, blacktip cruising the bar 50 yards off the beach. And there's sharks here all the time. And then even with that fact, a lot of people are still uneasy. So you're telling me there's sharks here when even you're not here? Well, yeah, of course. And here's another factor. If you watch the videos on our YouTube channel, 12-foot hammerhead, 12-foot tigers, big bull sharks. I mean, you name it, we've released it and we've swam with it. And, you saw Adam today, daytime, 7.5-foot bull shark. Everyone's like, bulls are so aggressive. That's the one shark I'm scared of. Adam dove in the water with it to get an underwater picture.
Yep.
And that thing didn't turn and try to bite him. I think it's a lot of media-driven fear that kind of brings that in. So there's sharks here all the time. We run single baits. We don't chum. Well, chumming's prohibited in Florida. It obviously wouldn't benefit us anyways. It could bring blue crabs and smaller sharks, which is not what we're after. But we, those single baits are there for those migratory sharks. We live in an amazing place here on the Panhandle where we see a super diverse amount of species of sharks through a calendar year. And those sharks are in and out for the most part. Sandbars are probably the only local sharks. They come from reefs to the beach, reefs to the beach. And, nothing here is in a hunt mode. Now, if you're in South Africa, you're in Hawaii, and you see a tiger shark, that's where they're laying pups. That's their quote-unquote home. That's probably not the best place to be. But here in the Panhandle, it's an amazing place to live because those sharks are on their way through, and they're constantly calculating effort versus calories. And most of the time, you are not worth those calories burned. So they're going to cruise right on past you, and I've seen it multiple times. Is hammers, blacktips, bulls, especially flying the drone right in the middle of hundreds of swimmers. And there's no, I mean, if sharks wanted to attack humans, you would see it 5 times a day.
Right.
But that's just not the case at all. So, yeah, no sharks drawn in by Gulf Coast Nation, that's for sure.
No. And that was, I hate to ask that question kind of in that weird way. It wasn't meant to be pandering. It's kind of that one where you see it and you're all, come on, really? I mean, that's not something that comes from our one bait that's in the water. It's not going to bring a shark in here to come eat you. It's just not going to happen. So with that, now that you've got the mic back, this
Yes,
is gonna be
sir.
great. What was that like, swimming with the bull today?
You know, it's every time that we get our hands on a shark, they're always, I mean, right at the shore, they're green, of course, because, you know, we use the right gear, the right line, everything like that to get them in quick. When they hit the shore, they're real green. They'll freak out a little bit, just kind of wiggle around, and then once you get them back in the water and you get them that water flowing through their gills again, they kind of calm down, and then it's just a real calm cruise at that point. And I mean, if you really wanted to, you could hang on to the back of their dorsal, and just, if you were able to hold your breath for that long, you could just swim with them as long as you wanted to, and they would never turn and bite you. It's surreal when you're underwater with a fish like that. That's all I can say about it.
I can imagine. I mean, it's a beautiful creature. It really is. I mean, it's not this, I don't know, I don't want to say it's this vicious killing machine that everyone seems to think. I mean, they are pretty impressive animals. They're important on the food chain. You know, they have their reason for life, for being out there. And like you said, they're not going to want us. They don't want anything to do with us. But to be able to just swim with it for a moment and feel that power, I mean, because that's just pure muscle. That is a strong fish.
Best way to explain it.
Yeah, because I mean that bull today was probably what, about 200 something.
Yeah, 250, 300.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean that's just a pure muscle 250, 300. That's not just this like no, that's not like us. It's not human. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys, surf fishing has definitely handled smaller Atlantic sharp nose and stuff like that. And even a shark that's 18 inches long, if you grab it, you know, kind of by the dorsal and then by the back fin, and it starts to curl up, you're not straightening. You can't hold that 18-inch shark, because they're just pure muscle, and that's the true, you know, just pure form of these sharks. They are amazing animals, like you said, and they definitely have a place here, but they're misunderstood in my mind for sure. And so we are very, very blessed to get to experience it, but also just relish in those moments with those fish.
Right. So with the catching, one thing I think a lot of people don't realize too is with shark fishing is the conservation piece. A lot of shark anglers do tagging, which is important for NOAA and all the other pieces for getting the science and learning more about these fish and understanding them better and better over time. And I mean, today that bull shark was 7'6". You know, that's an important thing for somebody to be like, okay, hey, cool, the bulls are doing good on size, you know,
right.
in these pieces. With shark fishing and conservation, what is something you think is misunderstood about that?
I would say probably touching again on our migratory patterns. So those hammers that come through here, those tigers that come through here, you know, those whites, those makos that come in this area, they are, you know, highly migratory. Those sharks that break that 10-foot mark, besides dusky sharks, which are the same way as sandbars, they're local. They go from offshore reefs. You know, in the tuna grounds, you see duskies eating tunas, and 90 miles out, and then in the wintertime they run the beach. But, you know, the majority of your 10-foot plus fish are highly migratory. And they are, you know, going to be something that can be misunderstood completely. And then touching again on the tagging side of things. So we want to, you know, we handle upwards of 200 to 300 sharks a year. And when we first started doing this, you know, we were doing it for fun. The Apex Predator program through NOAA was something super, super exciting to get to be a part of. And it was just cool. We were a couple of kids. I had a daytime job, you know, I had my degree job, whatever. And we were just tagging sharks, and we maybe put 5 to 10 tags a year in sharks. And it was just cool to be a part of. When we started the business, we were running charters. Like I said, I mean, touching 200 to 300 sharks a year. It's kind of one of those things of why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you want to give back to these amazing creatures? If we appreciate them as much as we say we do, why wouldn't you want to contribute to science and contribute to conservation? So that's exactly what we do. It's kind of it's a cool deal. We don't get as much information. I know a lot of people say you tag them, you know, where do they go? And it's like, NOAA doesn't share that with us.
Oh, okay.
I wish. So we get to just put a tag. We send the card off to NOAA, and they have a huge database through the, you know, I think it's a 12-year study now of these sharks through the Apex Predator program, and it is something that is just, you know, they're doing a lot of cool research, and they're getting a lot of cool data out of it.
I think that, I mean, you nailed it right there.
Yeah.
the hardest part, I think, people don't realize that the other stuff comes from how important knowledge is and power that comes from that.
Right.
And the funny thing is, we're sitting here. I mean, I wish you guys could have seen this live. That what we had was all of a sudden one of the lines just started drooping.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Right in the middle, and all these, you guys didn't get to see the hand come up and be like, go, 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 go. And it was like, oh, we're about to go live with a catch. This is going to be great.
Yeah, I just had the microphone. I pointed at the guys. They busted out of the chairs and went over there. But no cigar on this one. But
No.
yeah, another common question touching on the research thing and kind of touching on the why thing is people ask us all the time. We have a good reach on social media. We do Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And we get a lot of questions of why. Why do you guys do this? Why would you, like tonight we have 5 rods out. We're
Right.
catching sharks. And, a lot of people see it as why bother them? They're out here. Why bother them? So, my explanation is obviously one of sport. Certain people understand that. Certain people don't. I completely get that for sure. Fighting a 10-foot plus 1,000-pound fish in the harness strapped to it is just true man versus beast tug of war of your life, and it is something that you cannot replace. For the rest of my life, I will never forget my first 10-foot fish. I'll never forget the 12-foot fish we saw. So the sport of it is one small aspect. Another big one is the charter aspect. So we get, we reach around. Last year we did 207 charters. This year we're already at 217, and it's October. So we're getting to reach hundreds and hundreds of people that come down from Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, California, Oregon, Washington, wherever, all over the country. And when you come to the beach, you have 5 to 7 days to hang out here. And you might go to Walmart, you might get a pole, and you might try to catch some catfish most likely. Maybe if you get lucky, get a pompano or something. But you're never going to catch a 10-foot tiger shark. Never. That's not something you come from bass to 10-foot tigers. That just doesn't how it works. So we give, a pretty much streamlined avenue for people to come out here from way out of town, don't saltwater fish ever in their life. Some of our clients have never caught a fish, period. And their first fish is a 1,000-pound tiger shark or, bull shark or whatever it is. And so that's another reason of why, right? So we get to share this experience. That's our passion. And it also gives us a place for education, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, shark fishing is a growing sport. It is a growing industry. And my approach is educate rather than put it behind closed doors. And, we talked about it before we started the podcast. It's the uneducation that draws fear.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to shine a huge light. A lot of people were like, no, like keep shark fishing underground. Don't talk about it, and I want to shine the biggest spotlight I can on it and say, look, we're doing it correctly. Here's how you can do it correctly, and here's how you can even give back and tag these sharks and stuff like that. So I think spreading as much light on this shark fishery that we have from the beach here in the Panhandle is the most appropriate course of action. And that's exactly what we do through our YouTube channel. And then obviously the third, like we touched on earlier, would be conservation tagging and stuff like that. So
Right. Well, Blaine, I think you were talking to me about the reels, or it might have been you, Adam. The gear in itself that you use for shark fishing it's designed specifically for it. I mean, you can go out there with a spinning reel and you're going to be hating life trying to bring this in, but your
Right.
gear is designed to bring it in quickly so that the shark doesn't die. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't really think about is, you see all these TV shows where guys are like, Wicked Tuna or something like that. Hey, by the way, it's copyrighted by them, not by me, so please don't sue me. Yeah, they're fighting these fish for a long time. With sharks, you've got to get the job done quickly.
Yes, sir.
It's not a matter of like, oh, okay, we can slow this down.
Right.
So your gear, like you were explaining to me on the different sides of the reels and the line, is really more, yes, for the sport and with the harness, but you want to get you want to get that shark in, get the things you need and out and ready to rock and roll. Is that pretty much right?
Yeah, yes, sir. So, we use big 80-wide reels, and all of our strike settings, right at strike, is 65 pounds. And, if a fish is able to pull 65 pounds, it's a big fish. And we also use 200-pound braid to a 200-pound mono top shot. So, under extreme tension, unless there's a nick somewhere, that line will never pop. And you run into a lot of problems using smaller gear, smaller line. And like if you pop off and there's 300 yards dragging behind a shark, if he swims near a reef or something, like that could get caught up in the reef. And then, sharks, they have to keep moving at all times or they'll die. So that line can get caught up in a reef and just basically hang him up and he'll just die there. So you want to use really heavy gear, really heavy drag, get them in quickly for their safety. And then, if it's a non-protected species, maybe take a few pictures with it, but protected species such as hammers, tigers, lemon sharks, nurse sharks, hook out immediately back in the water. Now, there's no problem like while we're releasing it or anything to like snap pictures, but we cannot delay the release in any way, pose for a picture or anything like that. So it's really cut and dry.
And that's one thing. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I took the shark course," because they're like, "Oh, just in case." But you've got all this knowledge with that, and like you just said, all those pieces with the protected species. That's really key, is to know these things, because you can't just pull a protected species up on the up on the surf. You just can't do it.
Right.
It specifically says you got to keep the gills in the water, and gear like this is going to help with that, like everything you just said. Pretty much everything through there like that, right?
Yes, sir. So. In my opinion, there are slight problems to the shark course. One, it's free, which, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because, some people like that want to enjoy the sport don't have that much money to be dishing out big money on permits and stuff. But at the same time, it's not as informational as you would think. A lot of people, like, they take the shark course and they're like, okay, well, I can handle a 10-foot fish or something like that, and then they'll come out here and with lighter gear than they should and end up killing a fish, and they're like, well, why did that happen, like this, that, and it's like the shark course is there for informational purposes on like what not to do, but it doesn't go into depth even more on what not to do, as in like what gear you should use and etc.
Right. You hit it on the head, man. It's, if you could have a book on what is the not to do, that's going to be, the volume of volumes. It's always like a foot long. And you nailed it just right. Though it is informational, and I think when you want to shark fish and you've never done it, you can't rely on YouTube and those things. In my opinion, I think that you need to get with somebody that's done it before. I fully believe, go on a charter. Because if you're going to go on a charter, you're going to learn from it. Like, you guys, you don't just set the baits out there for these guys. You do a ton of teaching, as you did there.
Right, yes, sir. You've
explained to me, a ton of things today. I've learned so much in just the hour that I was like, wow, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So
that's a big thing about our YouTube channel too, is we try to put out more and more information on what to do, what not to do, and stuff like that, and it's a really big platform for us to be able to inform people on how to do things.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing great with that. But it doesn't take away, the one experience, the in-person experience.
Right.
And like this event you guys are doing now, and I know this podcast is going to come out several weeks from now, and everybody's like, "Oh, I missed it."
Yeah,
you did miss it. Hopefully, you hear about this later, and it kind of makes you think about coming out. Like, this event gives a huge benefit to people that wanted to see it up close and be like, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe I should go on a shark charter because I see all the benefit here.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm going with the same thing. I'm chasing my own tail here. But I think coming out on a charter, not only with like surf fishing and all that, but with sharks specifically, you guys will educate a lot. And so if somebody decides, I'd really like to become a shark fisherman, it's like, okay, cool, that'd be fine. But here's the gear you need and these pieces there.
Right. Yeah, we've had a good amount of clients in the couple of years that we've been doing this that book specifically for that. They come out by themselves or husband and wife, and they want to learn. And my number one thing is complete and utter transparency. There's nothing that we hide. There's no secret that we're like, yeah, we're not going to tell you what our connection knot is because, I don't want you to be successful. Same thing as the motto, addicted to sharing the experience. And, I want everybody to be just as successful as we are at shark fishing. I want people to come out here, have the proper gear, be responsible, handle their stuff on the beach, clean up the beach, all that stuff as you should as an angler. But I want you to come out here and pop a 10-foot fish.
Yeah.
If you got a goal, man, I want you to come out here and do it. So, you book a charter with us, I will explain connection knots. I will explain how to spool a reel. I'll explain, bait placement, hook placement, what bait to get, where to get the bait, how we make our leaders, where to get your weights. Literally everything. Full and utter transparency is my number one thing. And a lot of guys in the shark community don't like that because they think, it's kind of like a little bit of if I share it, I might not be, other people might catch my fish or the same kind of thing. It's like, dude, come out here and do it. I want everybody to do it. We got a couple guys in the group right now that are, shark fishermen in the area, and they're kind of getting into the sport. They came out for this event and they wanted to learn, and we will 100% explain everything I know and overshare if I need to make them successful. So their next trip is lights out.
That's awesome, man. So what is, we're coming up on the max time here. We're about at 30 minutes. And I could talk to you guys for hours. So let's do this. What is your absolute favorite thing about shark fishing?
Dealing with the sharks is, well, my favorite part is basically our motto, sharing the experience, but my favorite part is getting underwater with a really, really, really big fish. And, like, you go underwater, there's a light on you if it's night, and you can just open your eyes and look over and see a 1,000-pound to 1,300-pound fish swimming right next to you, and it's there, like, there is no words to describe that feeling that it gives you, just being underwater with something that big. And like I said, there's no words to describe that. It's thrilling. It's an adrenaline rush like no other. It's amazing.
All right.
So,
well, before you pass the mic off, I've got to ask you one more. Where do you hope this takes you with shark fishing and the chartering?
Obviously, putting more people on big fish. That's one of my passions, along with fishing, and to travel a lot. Travel and see the world and catch a bunch of different fish in a bunch of different places and see a lot of cool things.
Gulf Coast Nation going on the road.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see that. All up and down. Like, all right, for winter, we're going to stay in the south. For the summer, we're going to go up to the north where it's nice. We're going to change the weathers. Yep. That wouldn't be horrible. All right.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you on that. I really do. And you guys have really you've opened my eyes to a lot of this, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you even taking the time and setting this event up for one.
Definitely.
Is there anything I missed to ask you guys? I feel like I did. I feel like I left something out.
No, I don't think so. I think we pretty much hit the hammer on the nail on this one. It's it's something that isn't exactly a big knowledge, and so we just want to every chance we get in this podcast has been excellent, and I can't thank you enough for having us.
Thanks for coming.
That we just want to share the education. So I think in the future we'll be doing some more events like this where we can share in a semi-controlled environment on the beach and show people exactly what we do, the exact thing of it. But we also want to do events indoors and kind of do of a tutorial kind of deal. So that'd be really cool as well. So more to come on that as well as videos every single Monday and Friday. So
yeah, I look forward to them. My ding when it goes off. I'm like, oh yeah, what's up?
So sweet, hitting the notifications, baby.
Like, follow, and share. Okay,
That's
so we
right.
got Gulf Nation, our Gulf Coast Nation. We got you on YouTube. It's
Yep.
at Gulf Coast Nation. Facebook is the same.
Gulf Coast Nation. Instagram is Gulf Coast Nation.
Is any other platforms you guys? You got the website?
Yeah, we've got GulfCoastNation.com. Pretty much straightforward there, and we've got. Pretty much in the next month, we're going to be hiring. So we're going to start taking job applications. So we're going to open that up. If you go to GulfCoastNation.com, you're going to see a jobs tab. Go ahead and apply. We have an open job right now for actually a videographer. So anybody who's listening right now who thinks they can hold a camera and wants to travel all over the country. I mean, we've been to Idaho, Texas, California. We're going to the East Coast. We're going to go back to Idaho to do sturgeon again. So if unless you hate fishing and you hate traveling, this is not the job for you. But if you do enjoy traveling and you do enjoy big fish, we need somebody to hold the camera, travel with us, and help people share the experience. But yeah, and then as well as that, we've got apparel all over the website. So we got performance shirts, t-shirts, performance hoodies, cozy hoodies, hats, decals, you name it, we've got it. So the GulfCoastNation.com is the place to do that stuff.
Outstanding. That's what I was going to ask about the apparel because I knew it was just getting it more and more. I was starting to see it. I was like, oh yeah. So we got the shirts for sale.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. 700 pieces have already gone out the door, and we've already had to restock. And I didn't the small following that we have, of a couple, tens of thousands of people is just, it's unreal to see the support that we have behind us, and it's shown through the apparel for sure.
You guys do great. Well, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you giving me the time. I mean, I know we're in the middle of this event. It's been great. I've seen the light drop a couple times. Like, all right, it's Shark Time, baby. I'm enjoy this for a long period of time. And really, I mean, what you guys got? It looks like we got one more good thing going here.
I was just gonna go in with the closing with you. So.
Oh. We're going to closing. All right. Well, hey.
It seemed like we were headed down that road.
Oh, yeah, we're going to go down. I'm kind of lost as to what we're going to do, but I'm just going to go. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. So, hey, Gulf Coast Nation, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you so much.
Yes, sir.
We really appreciate you having us.
All right. Make sure, everybody, if you got to come back in, come on to go ahead and take a look at Gulf Coast Nation. Hit all those parts on there. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow on all platforms so you can be informed of everything they're doing. That way you don't miss out on any of it. If you have any questions on anything with this podcast, by all means, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Gulf Coast Nation. They will happily answer your questions. They are here for you. And if you want to book a charter, you might want to get on that a little sooner than you think.
Do not wait.
That schedule fills
We're
up.
already booking for next summer, yeah. So
Oh,
I hate
man.
turning people away. That's the worst thing. But, yeah, we only have so much groups and so many crews, so.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks, guys, so much. And everybody, appreciate you guys coming out, listening to Finding Demo Surf Fishing. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to have some more fun and exciting things for you, and we appreciate your time. Take care. Go forth. Do good things.